That's a pretty heartbreaking way to go out. Giving it your all and just fall short like that. It's a very tough way to end a pretty disappointing season for the Tigers, you know? Yeah, there's the whole, oh, well, you made it further than a lot of people thought. It doesn't fucking matter. They ended up being the same result as last year. 2 years in a row, 2 years to not making it past the second round. And 2 years in a row losing the winner go-home Game 5 in the ALDS. At least this one, the Tigers actually had a chance to pull it off. Just in the end, just wasn't meant to be. You know, it was a pretty good series overall. I mean, the Tigers, this was easily a winnable series. Just the Tigers fell short against the Mariners. Like, throughout the first 2 games of the series, the Mariners were not that much better. It was really just a game of who would fuck up the most, and both teams exchanged in the first 2 games. Especially the Tigers kicking it off, winning Game 1 on the road, which is always big to win on the road, and then falling short in Game 2. Especially with Game 2 being Tariq Skubal's first game on the mound. And then you had Game 3, which got postponed a few hours in Detroit because of rain. And then Seattle fans even calling for Detroit to forfeit a playoff game. Because, they're an outdoor stadium and not a dome team. So let me get this straight, Seattle fans. You want Detroit to forfeit a playoff game for being unable to control the weather? That is pretty fucking stupid logic by Seattle fans. Like, come on. I know you all can do better than that. Here, have a damn Snickers. You're not you when you're damn hungry. Plus, baseball is meant to be played outdoors anyway. It's not like football where nearly half the damn league is becoming dome teams. Especially by 2031 when the Bears dome is complete and the Denver Broncos retractable roof stadium's complete. And if the Chiefs get that dome stadium that they've been rumored to be getting, you also add in Cleveland getting a dome stadium too, along with Tennessee and even Washington as well. Like, it's not like football where half the teams in the league will be playing inside a dome. And I think that number is going to continue to go up for the next couple decades. Like, hell, the entire AL Central are outside stadiums. Like, it's honestly just it's just very bad luck that we had a 3-4 hour rain delay for Game 3. You can't control the goddamn weather. So why the hell should the Tigers be punished for not being unable to control the weather? You can't control the Mother Nature. But hey, Seattle fans, you still get the last laugh in that because you still won Game 3 anyway, despite waiting 3-4 hours. And then Game 4, when it looked like Tigers were all but dead in the water, then went down 3-0. Tigers then responded by throwing 9 unanswered runs. And then we get the stage for Game 5. Like, honestly, this game was just AJ Hinch playing Over Manager 2025 edition. Like, pulling Tariq Skubal in the 6th after 6 innings, with only 100 pitches, when he was still pitching at the top of his game. Like, honestly, they should have kept Skubal in the game until he started falling off. It's like he was still fucking playing lights out. Just fucking keep him in until he fucking falls apart. The moment he starts to go down, then pull him in like the 7th or 8th inning. Like, we'll keep him in there. But AJ wanted to play pitcher's roulette. And honestly, there's nothing really AJ Skubal did wrong in that game. He fucking played outstanding, including 13 strikeouts. Like, Skubal had a pretty dominant playoffs for the 3 games he played. Like, very outstanding work by him. Honestly, his dominant pitching should be enough to get him an extension. Will he? He should, but since Chris Silva is the owner, that probably won't happen, but we still got him under contract for 1 more year. And then what? Potentially him being a free agent and walking after next year? Yeah. All I say is, if you're not going to extend him, then probably just trade him away and get whatever you can, but get some out of him in return, instead of having him walk for nothing. If you're not going to give him the extension he rightfully deserves. But yeah, just, even despite everything the Tigers did, the only thing they'll be remembered for this year is blowing a 15.5 game lead in the division. And it's only fitting they lost to Seattle the way they did. You know, they blew a 15.5 game lead in the division. And in the end, their season ends in a 15-inning walk-off. Kind of ironic. But yeah, hey, I gotta give a tip of the cap to Seattle. In the end, Seattle was the better team. Like, honestly, the fact that it went to 5 games shows how much heart and grit Detroit had. To push Seattle all the way to the brink of death. In the end, somebody had to lose game 5 and in the end, Detroit was the one that had to lose this winner-go-home game. But hey, congrats to Seattle. I know Mariner fans have been waiting a long time for a deep run like this. It's been since, 2001 since they went to the ALCS. And yeah, and there's now a chance where the Mariners could potentially make the World Series. And if the Mariners do, then that means every team in MLB has made the World Series at least once in their entire existences. But, congrats to Seattle. They were the better team in this. And say whatever you want about the ref ball in the series with the bunt that got ruled a hit by a pitch. At the end of the day, we're not playing the refs or the umps. We're playing the fucking Seattle Mariners. And at the end of the day, the Tigers had 15 innings to not put themselves in a position where a call like that could affect their season. Hell, they had 4 or 5 games the entire series to not put themselves in that position. The Tigers failed to take advantage of it. It just shows what happens when you don't add a hitter at the deadline. Like, in terms of this roster needs a massive overhaul. I mean, 2 years in a row, you've been knocked out twice in winner-go-home Game 5s in the ALDS. And you blew a 15.5 game lead in the division. But hey, the Tigers will probably take the wrong lessons and learn the wrong lessons from this. Because, hey, you beat the team that you choked the division to in the first round. In the end, you only fell to the Cleveland Guardians curse, where for the 18th straight year in a row, a team that eliminated the Guardians from the playoffs got eliminated the very next round. Yeah, we beat Cleveland, but it cost us everything. Very disappointing. I mean, very disappointing game overall. Scuba was the only positive part. That and Kerry Carpenter, too. Like, honestly, Kerry Carpenter might be the best hitter on the Tigers right now because Torkelson and Green once again no-showed in a do-or-die game. Yeah, Torkelson and Green, the 2 best players on the Tigers, not named Scooble. And they no-show when it matters the most. Pretty disappointing out of both of them. Like either one of them needs to be traded or they both need to be gone. Like this roster needs a massive overhaul. We need a bunch of hitters, some new pitchers, a couple new starters, and Scooble needs to be extended long term. This roster needs a massive overhaul. Question is, are AJ Hinch and Scott Harris actually going to make their necessary changes? Or is Chris Ilitch going to hold him at ransom and be a cheap prick once again? Honestly, the 15.5 game division lead should show that being complacent doesn't actually work. This roster needs a massive overhaul if they want to even think about attending for a World Series. And I haven't even gone to the worst part about this whole loss, but to Seattle. The worst part about the Tigers season this year is not the heartbreaking loss of Seattle and getting 15 innings, or blowing a 15.5 game lead in the division to Cleveland. No, the worst part about this is this might be the last bit of Tigers baseball we watched for a while. And here's why. Because the current MLB CBA deal expires after this postseason, at the end of the year. And based on how we've seen the last couple CBA contract talks gone, there's a very good chance that we're heading toward a lockout in 2026. Especially since the salary cap has been talked about being put in for baseball after everyone complained about the Dodgers spending spree in the last offseason, Which, by the way, the Dodgers broke no rules with what they did. It's all legal within the legal parameters of baseball. Don't hate the player, hate the game. But yeah, pretty disappointing season from the Tigers. And it ends in heartbreak. Honestly, I kind of feel nothing out of this. I'll say, though, is they're still better. The Tigers still have a brighter future than the Red Wings. Considering the Wings can't even make the fucking playoffs in the last calendar year. But yeah, tough way to go out against Seattle. Always tough to have the season end like that. Especially when you give it your all. But in the end, the big reason Tigers lost was lack of offense, not pitching. Pitching did everything they could to win this game. The offense completely no-showed, especially your two best bats in Torkelson and Green. Tigers tried, but in the end just wasn't meant to be. But yeah, Tigers definitely need a massive overhaul before we go to the impending strike lockout in 2026. In terms of that CBA deal expiring, buckle up. Because that shit's about to get ugly. Because CBA talks never end well. Anyway, the one positive I have to say is, hey, at least we got the Lions and the Pistons. See y'all later for Sunday night. I'm out.